Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're running through a handful of OCG deck lists that have topped in like pretty decent sized tournaments, about the same size as a lot of regionals in the TCG goes. And just taking a look at some of the stuff they have going on. They have some really interesting card choices that could end up applying to the TCG, and I just think it's really interesting because they also have a little bit of a look into the future of what our format could look like in future formats. So only going to focus on the ones that I think are more important, like starting off here, Math Mech deck list. Nothing too crazy here, to be honest. Everything looks pretty standard. The only main difference here is that they do have the Link guy, the new Link 1 for them, which is just kind of better than Lingaribo for them. Other than that, nothing crazy. Dinosaurs. This is a 224-man tournaments, by the way. Dinosaurs got top 4, just kind of crazy. They are playing the new Crazy Spell Searcher. That's, I think, also a fusion card engraved. It's pretty cool. I wonder if they're still even opting second. They still might be. I'm not even sure. But I'm very curious to see if this type of deck will come up more as a rogue deck in the TCG, but nothing too crazy other than that. A couple extra monsters from the new Transcendric stuff there. Very cool. Moving on here, move to Exosister. This is about as basic it gets for Exosister. Nothing crazy here whatsoever. And even into the extra deck. The Sky Striker Link, we don't have this yet, but it's going to be a cool out to like Floodgates for a couple of decks. Almost like a Donner-esque card, but helps with back row too. Very cool. I showed this off on my YouTube short the other day. Very, very cool Labyrinth deck list here. So much more mid-rangey than like Stunny, like the deck can be before, or I guess Control-y. Only one of each of the 3 main girls. You max out on the main furnitures. And then you play like tour guides. That way you can make use of like Skarm and Farfa. Even if you draw them, they're good discards off of these guys. You have the Yoshizu Shufflers, which are pretty good in the format. They have less Kashtira at the moment because it's hit so hard on the ban list. But so for us right now, the Yoshizu Shufflers don't really work. But maybe down the line, they could if we end up in a format where everything's kind of digging in grave a lot more. But that's still really cool. Definitely like this. This is a really cool list. I want to try something similar to this going forward. Cool stuff like the DDD package as well to facilitate Zeus or going first, multiple interruptions. Really solid there. And then, moving on. Rescue-Ace. I'm so happy that Rescue-Ace has been actually performing really well in the OCG. I would maybe play around a little bit with ratios here for the monsters. I like 1 Turbulence and maybe 2 of each of these guys, Preventer and, is this Fire Engine? But other than that, the ratios look good to me. Not playing Reinforce, I think that might be right. But yeah, cool deck. I'm glad it's performing. This is more of like a Code Talker deck list. This is similar to why I played someone recently, but I found trouble not being able to play as many defensive cards as I want, and the deck being way more fragile to like certain forms of interruption. But I did play something very, very similar to this. Cool deck all in all, but yeah, it's got some bigger weaknesses than Math Mech overall, especially in a format with Max C running around, but still cool. Super heavies with the new Synchron monster. That's really cool. I guess it helps you make either Black Rose going second, Meteor Burst going first to help with extension. Technically, it can still make like this guy as well, or even Savage, but I don't think the deck makes level 5 monsters very often. That's what you would need to kind of facilitate that, but still a really interesting card. Also, nobody in the TCG plays this card. I'm not even exactly sure what he does or if he's good or anything, but very, very interesting deck list here. He's also, he's ending on like the King Calamities as well. That's crazy. Okay, very interesting stuff for that. Blackwing's actually getting a top here. Very cool to see. I think the main difference for them is they do have this guy who's like really, really good. He's a Trident engrave if you control a Blackwing Synchro. So just go ahead and do everything you do with Blackwings right now, but then also add a good tuner extender to them that is a Trident on your turn. So very cool. Very good. Moving on there, Strikers, nothing crazy. This looks like a pretty standard Striker list here. And then moving on. All right, next tournament. Here we go. This is a deck that like can't really exist in the TCG because it's a 60-card mill pile, earth pile. We don't have Block Dragon, so this deck like doesn't even exist for us. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. Another one there. Another Math Mech list. Nothing too crazy here. Again, playing the Dotscaper. I wonder if that's just like a small world bridge mainly for them. But yeah, yep. Moving on from there, nothing too crazy elsewise. Moving on to Vanquish Soul. This is something I'm very excited about. 1 Super Poly. That's insane. Other than that, I mean, it's a pretty standard deck, I think. You're not going to get too crazy with it. I mean, you have to stay in attribute with a lot of your tech choices, but playing Shifter is obviously a strong bonus for them, so that's really good. Pretty cool. It's a cool list. I can't wait to kind of mess around with them. That'll be really cool. So that's cool. Exorcister, pretty standard list. Nothing too crazy. They're on Gozen match, at least. That's a little bit different. Moving on here, we have an Adignister Mathmech deck, combining the two. Again, I think this is someone just getting kind of cheeky, just likes cyber stuff and thinks pure Mathmech is a little more boring. That's kind of where I started, and then I slowly just realized pure Mathmech is just the best one. It just is. So, still cool for them, and they're playing like the Ibli and stuff, but yeah, just worse in my opinion. Another Vanquish Soul list. This one looks pretty similar to the other one. Is playing Tikaboo here. He's also on the Trap, which I don't think the other one had, but still cool. Still pretty self-explanatory other than that for the most part. Rescue-Ace, again, this one has the ratios I'm talking about. Maybe cut Fire Engine from 3 to 2, but other than that, love the monster ratios here. They are on Reinforce, which, again, I question that card. Not sure if it's worth it, but still, really, really cool. Cannot wait to mess with this deck as well. Daikusto Emerald in the extra is crazy. All right, cool. Another one down. Moving on. This is another 315-man tournament. That deck doesn't exist. That deck doesn't exist. Sky Striker, again. We'll see. I'm very curious to see what kind of results the new Link 2 gives Sky Striker, because I do think it could allow different engines to be played in them. I made whole videos talking about that card. Very curious to see if that will come up. But other than that, that's a pretty standard list. Pirelli going for the draws from Brow and Beast overall there. Another new crazy. Pirelli you don't really get too insane with. What is this card? I don't even know what this card is. What the heck is that thing? It's a dark rank 1 Exceed monster. That is weird. Okay. I don't even know what that is, but that's interesting. Maybe I can find it here in a sec. All right, Hong Kong, 310-man tournament. Let's move on. Vanquish Soul in first place. Put some respect on him. Again, nothing too crazy. I think I'm very curious to see where like support goes for Vanquish Soul. If they get one card, the deck has super searchability for monsters, spell traps, and then obviously they only have the one extra deck monster right now, so I'm almost expecting another extra deck monster at some point. So that would be cool. Let me see if I can actually figure out what that card was in Pirelli. Rank 1, Dark Exceed. It's this guy, I think. Embodiment of Crime. Once per turn, during either player's turn to attach material from this card, change all monsters your opponent controls to face-up attack position. Also, all monsters your opponent currently controls must attack this card if able, while you control Embodiment of Punishment. This card gains these effects. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so it forces all your opponent's monsters to attack mode, so you can play around with cool stuff in the battle phase. Cool. All right, very cool. All right, moving on from here. Nothing crazy there. Another Pirelli deck list, not getting as interesting. Not playing that weird guy who changes stuff to attack mode. This deck is not a real deck. Whoa! A 60-card Bestial Sword Soul Tenyi deck. Very cool. Not on the tuner, the new tuner, Ringo Worm, which is interesting. But they also have 3 of this guy, which is a huge difference between our formats. Other than that, this definitely looks like a pretty buildable deck. It just depends on how much of a true necessity this guy is. But very, very interesting. Just a lot of engine, a lot of defensive cards. Not sure why it needed to be 60 cards or what the benefit of that is, but sure, it works. Moving on. Another Mathmech list. Nothing crazy. Nope, just a bunch of stuff we've already kind of seen here. Small world bridges that look weird, but makes sense at the end of the day. Another 60-card Earth Pile. This deck is interesting. A Super Heavy Samurai list that is messing around with this card, the Synchron. I mean, we've seen this has been just coming up more and more for them. Also, this guy's playing 1 Fenrir with like cards at 1. That seems weird to me. But yeah, I guess this card is, making these 2 mainly. But like, is Meteor Burst really good enough to make this card worth it overall? I mean, maybe. I remember it like summons a scale out, but like other than that, I don't remember off the top of my head everything else it does. But that is still cool to keep note of. But yeah. All right, that finishes up that one. Move to Malaysia. This is a 217-man tournament. Let's see where we end up here. Naturia Runic finally getting around with this. Haven't seen this too much. Doesn't look too crazy. I mean, for what? I mean, obviously, Max C we don't have, but other than that, everything else looks pretty standard. Extra looks fine here. Playing Black Rose again. Black Rose is just popular right now in their format. It's very interesting. Hit the side deck. Okay. Moving on, we have a Kashtira Tearlament deck. Not sure how this deck is still playable. I guess having like Glow Up Bulb and shoot, I don't even know what else they have over us for this deck. I mean, they are playing the Revolution Synchron as well here as another way, I believe, to make Ancient Fairy and get access to one of the field spells, which is very cool. It's definitely a really cool aspect of that. You can also and then get into this guy to then dig for whatever dark monster you want. Yeah, I still find that this deck should have a lot of consistency problems. Not sure if that's true in practice, but it sure as hell looks like it. But yeah, it works out, I guess, enough to get top 4 at a 300-man tournament. It's crazy. Okay, another Super Heavy Samurai list. Playing this guy because he's a huge body that attacks in defense position, I believe, is the main reason you play him. He's an out to certain things, I think. But yeah, he's playing the Scythe and the Exterio stuff instead of playing like the Infinitrack Draw 2 play, which is cool, or the Lambda Search Gamma stuff. This is going to be another Code Talker looking build here. Triple Microcoder. That just can't be right. Oh, he does play regular Microcoder. Never mind. So maybe that's fine. But he doesn't even play the continuous spell at all. He's just playing it as a way to turbo either Conflict for more interruption or Silent Mining for circular. So maybe that could be worth it in that regard. That could be a cool thing. But whenever you go into this first, you are turning off Sigma. So like if you don't have another way to like summon a Math Mech with circular, you could be kind of in a little bit of trouble there. But okay, still cool. Moving on here, another Math Mech list. This one looks a little more standard. Yeah, this one looks like exactly like what we've been seeing. This one is almost exactly, but a little bit of the hybrid. Does still play the one microcoder, but not playing the regular Code Talker and Link 2 in the extra deck. So he does become like I bricked on this card like twice this week at locals. Brutal. So yeah, not huge on that. Trap Eater in the side. Woo! I guess for like Vanquish Soul, so that way you can use Small World to get into this, and then out like a There Can Be Only One. It's pretty good. Look at this. This is a pure. No, I guess it's pure. Yeah, it's like, I mean, he does play a small Kashtira engine, but like pure illusionist or chimera deck. That's really interesting. I didn't know this engine would be good enough to like fully facilitate that whole shit, but that's really, really interesting. I'm curious if this is like really good or if this is just like it's super new, so people didn't know how to play against it or around it or whatever. Very, very curious about that. That's interesting. I mean, it's super simple deck list here. You mean just maxing out on all these guys and then, a small Kashtira engine, bunch of hand traps. Very cool. Yeah. Pirelli, this looks pretty standard for Pirelli. Yeah, nothing crazy there. A Runic Stun variant. Thank God nobody tries to play this in the TCG. If people tried to play this in the TCG, I mean, to be fair, Labyrinth is way better in the TCG than the OCG, it looks like. So, not way better, but a little better. So people have a lot of players do have like back row hate in their deck already. So that kind of helps. Pirelli, another standard deck list, nothing crazy, just slightly different with the Dark World lineup there. This deck doesn't exist. Another Pirelli deck list, playing the one Druid's Worm in the main. That's funny. Yep, nothing crazy. A pure Kashtira deck, haven't seen one of these yet. The one Planet Pathfinder just to get you to that one field spell, hopefully. That's funny. You play Terraforming, Planet Pathfinder, and the one field spell. Like, what do you do if you just open 2 of those cards? One's just definitely dead. It's funny. Yep, other than that, it's like a more control-y variant just because they can't do all the combos, I think. Didn't they ban? Oh, there was just so much of their deck is limited. They can't go like all the way, I think, a lot of the time. Math Mech list. This one looks standard like the others. Another Kashtira. This one's got 2 Planet Pathfinders. You're out of your mind, friend. Wowee. Yep. Trap Tricks. There we go. There's something freaking sweet. One evenly matched in the main. He is playing the new Trap Hole card. I wonder if that card's actually worth it. He's on 5 trap holes aside. Oh, 6, 7. This is too many trap holes. 7 trap holes aside from Holusha? That can't be right. This list seems crazy, but it worked for him, I guess, so that's cool. All right, just a couple more here. Let's see. There's a Cash Tier Limit deck again here. It kind of looks similar. Look, it's exactly the same like the other one. Same thing here, exactly the same. Another Math Mech build, nothing crazy here. Nothing crazy here for the Pirellis. Another Cash Tira deck, nothing blowing me away there. Another Pirelli. Yeah, okay, cool. That was an easy one. 120-man tournament, a little bit smaller. Another Math Mech build. He is on the microcoder. Counter trap stuff. That seems to be a little more popular than I would have expected. This deck isn't real. I don't believe in that. Ooh, here we go. Okay, so like a Bestial branded deck. It seems to have a lot of normal summons. Maybe it's not as clunky. I don't know the lines, and maybe you like can make use of cards that don't look that great. But like Albaz is sort of like a normal summon. These need Albaz set up, so I guess they're fine. But like 2 Kit, 3 Aluber, and 2 of the Dragon guy. That's kind of like, that's a lot of normal summons that you can definitely be like bricking up on. You know, and then they have so many cards hit in this lineup here. Wow, they're playing like double of the freaking Nadir Servant just to get Quem, I guess. That's crazy. Now don't even play any other Dogmatica cards. Interesting. Funky list. Wow, that's literally it. Not much going on there. And then our last one here, our last tournament. This is 113-man tournament, a little bit smaller again here. Whoa! Playing a small Rescue-Ace engine in their tier limit deck. If you don't know, this guy says when your opponent activates a monster effect on field, you can tribute him from hand or field to summon a Rescue-Ace monster from deck. So you can summon this card. And this card said if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, except for drawing for turn, it'll let you draw 2 and discard 1. And that discard 1 is obviously as effect. So you can trigger a bunch of stuff. You can throw a Shuffler in grave, throw one of these guys in grave, middle 5. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cool little interactions you can get there. That's cool. I'm not sure how good it'll be in practice. I mean, he got first place, so I'm not going to bash him. But that's still, or maybe second. I can't tell. The way it's listed, 1, 2. Maybe these guys tied technically. Then we have another Cash Tira player. Nothing crazy there. It looks pretty standard. Rescue-Ace again. Ooh, Vanquish Soul. Vanquish Soul, but with the Revolution Synchron. Oh, you're literally just using... That's crazy. You're literally just using it to make Ancient Fairy and then reborn it and make this guy. Make your Crystal Wing. So he's just an extender that turns your Vanquish Soul plays into a Crystal Wing, which is pretty cool. And he's also only playing one of the big boss monster, which is interesting. A lot of lists like to play 2. That's an interesting one. It's also an Earth, so it's good attribute, I think, for some of your on-field effects, which is cool. Very cool. Interesting. Next up, another Cash. Oh, no, same thing. Playing the Rescue-Ace package here. That's so weird. Okay, that's interesting. I'm curious if this could be like a generically splashable package that people could try to play to try and draw 2, discard 1 on their opponent's turn. That'll be interesting to look at for sure. But we'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's everything we kind of had to cover here. A lot of different deck lists, a lot that kind of go similar with like slight differences, but pretty standard otherwise. But overall, you know, pretty cool stuff. Handful of really cool lists. Let me know your thoughts down below on some of these deck lists. Let me know if you want me to start doing this more regularly as well, almost maybe like a weekly thing. Just go back and look at the biggest deck list throughout the week that Road of the King has to offer. Or maybe I can start trying to find a couple other sources to try and find other deck lists. It'd be pretty cool as well. But yeah, I'm out of here for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. Let me know your thoughts down below on any of these particular decks and you know, how you think they could impact the TCG going forward. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.